Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Coach Prime at it again in his first full high school recruiting class as he lands Juwan Johnson from Louisiana coming over, joining the 2024 class again. Before we get into it, we're going to talk a little bit about this player because I do like him and I don't necessarily think his national ranking is reflective in regards to how good he can be for Colorado. But before we do, I just want to say thank you to you guys, especially the Colorado fans and the people who are following this Coach Prime phenomenon. It's been a blast talking about it. The roster, the talent that he is bringing into this program is extremely exciting. Again, we say it a lot. I think it's the coolest story in college football heading into that 2023 season. So again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you guys. We talk a decent amount about Coach Prime as he is seemingly building something really special in Colorado. Let's talk about Juwan Johnson, and then we'll catch up a little bit on what Colorado has been doing, not only in the 2024 class, but they also had some transfer additions that we did not necessarily get to cover. Let's start with Johnson. Coming from Louisiana, he is why I say that I don't think he's necessarily valued as high as I think he can be is he plays quarterback for this team. But he's going to come into Colorado as an athlete, probably going to play cornerback. And again, you look at the cornerbacks and the talent in the back end of that defense that Coach Prime is bringing in, extremely impressive. It's going to be a great group. That's going to allow that front seven to do a lot of different things when you have guys on the outside who are talented and can kind of handle their business in those one-on-ones. Juwan Johnson, he actually is the quarterback that beat Arch Manning in the state of Louisiana playoffs in 2021. I'm going to check out a little bit of his film. And again, the reason I say he's not necessarily the highest ranked kid is he doesn't really play cornerback because he's the best athlete on the field. He plays quarterback for his team, and you see right off the bat, like the movement skills and how fluid of an athlete this guy is. When we check out these highlights in this film, like the whole purpose was for this team was to get this kid the ball in space. He's also a track athlete as well, and also played a little wide receiver. So when you talk about athleticism and what you look for in a cornerback, especially coming out of high school, the ability to play wide receiver and have those ball skills, as well as being an elite track athlete and having that long speed, checks a lot of the boxes. But what you're seeing right now is just how fluid he is as a mover, being able to get in and out of breaks, which is, again, cornerback is one of the most important attribute of a good cornerback is having elite movement skills and being the best athlete on the football field. You see the NFL Combine value that year in, year out. This guy has it, and he's going to a program that he's going to be coached up by one of the best defensive backs to ever do it at the NFL level in Coach Prime. And you see the athletic, you're going to see his arm right here. He's not going to play quarterback for Colorado, but it just kind of shows you how athletic this guy is. Don't want to necessarily get too much into his quarterback highlights because, again, he's not going to be playing quarterback for Colorado. But Juwan Johnson is a guy that a lot of teams wanted. And LSU normally lands, he's a top 5 kid from the state of Louisiana. LSU normally gobbles those guys up. And what you're seeing from Coach Prime is the continued ability to go down into the Southeast, the states of Florida, the states of Georgia, Louisiana, and bring out their top talent to come out to Boulder. And he even said in a quote, like, once we get these guys on campus and they realize there's snow, but it's not necessarily that cold. Some of these guys have never seen snow before. Like, he's getting guys to commit to this program. Let's check out the 2024 class. And again, this is going to be a big class. A lot of people wanted to judge him on that 2023 class with forgetting that he came in so late into the process. Most of those 2023 guys already have been committed. Some of them are already signed their national letter of intent. So it was really hard for him to put together a strong 2023 class, which he still did. I believe it came in the top 25 when he added Kermani McLean, got Dylan Edwards transferring over not transferring over, but flipping over from Notre Dame. But you take a look at this 2024 class, and it's really, really early. You already have 5 commits. Omar White coming from the state of Georgia. He's probably going to finish the recruiting cycle as a top 100 player. Eric Bentley, another guy you're really excited about. Now you add Juwan Johnson coming from the state of Louisiana. You're starting to see Coach Prime kind of reach his influence all over the country. And this was the big question I had is how well could Coach Prime bang with some of these top SEC schools to recruit this area, the southeastern part of the United States, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, even up to South Carolina, a region that has so much high school talent. Coach Prime is seemingly doing that. And then you take a look at this 2023 class and what he did in the transfer portal. you're seeing why they brought Coach Prime into Colorado and why we're also excited to see what he can do with this Colorado program. Is one, finishes with what, 3 weeks of a 2023 commitment cycle. He finishes with a top 20 class. But you go look at the transfer portal. This is where he really kind of cleaned up. And we didn't get to talk about some of these guys. We talked about Jordan Dominic and Taylor Upshaw on our videos a couple of weeks ago. But Demoy Kennedy, he's another guy that, if you check him out, he was a former top 50 player nationally from who committed to Alabama, played there for a couple of years. You see this a lot. You saw it with Deion Sanders, who transferred over to Arkansas after really struggling to find the field at Alabama. He was an all-SEC guy. A lot of these guys from Alabama aren't necessarily bad players. They were just stuck behind some really good linebackers like Henry To'oTo'o. Demoy Kennedy is a guy that has the athletic attributes to be really special at the collegiate level. He comes to Colorado, a change of scenery that could really benefit what Colorado is trying to do. And again, we talk about this a lot. What is so important for Coach Prime early on? If he wants to land a really strong 2024 class, if he wants to land a really strong 2025 class and continue to acquire that talent, which is, again, why Colorado brought him in. He's a phenomenal coach, but what he's really doing is bringing in a ton of dude, and that's where college football starts. That's how you rebuild a program, is to acquire talent. You look at why Georgia and Alabama win every single year. It's because they have the best players. Colorado is starting to get those elite players to come to Colorado, and it's really special. But again, what he needs to do in 2023 is show that this team can compete with the top teams in college football. And he's going to have a chance to do that because the Pac-12 is loaded. And if you want to start getting some of these guys in 2024 and 2025 to commit to Colorado, you got to show them that you're not that 1-11 Colorado team that you saw in 2022. Coach Prime has done that in the transfer portal. This team is going to look vastly different from what it looked like in 2022. Another thing, Coach Prime is surrounding himself with elite coaches. As a head coach, you have a lot of responsibility. Number one is probably bringing in elite talent, but having really good coordinators and having really good analysts and having really good assistant coaches is massive, and he's doing that. He went and took Kent State's head coach to come be the offensive coordinator. I mean, that is the type of magnetic energy, magnetism, maybe we're going with, that everyone just wants to come be a part of what's happening in Colorado. And you're seeing that with Juwan Johnson, who, again, top 3 was Florida and LSU. Coach Prime wins that recruiting battle. He had a ton of talent coming in 2 weeks ago for Junior Day. And I think you're going to see a probably top 10, maybe even top 5 2024 class for Coach Prime in Colorado. And if you want to know how you restart a program and how you really build a dominant program in college football, it starts from recruiting the high school ranks. He's adding some guys from the transfer portal, but I think you're going to start to see a little bit more reliance on recruiting out of high school once he gets this roster from a talent standpoint where it wants to be. Massive win for Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes as they beat out Florida and LSU for one of the best athletes in the whole entire country in Juwan Johnson. Massive win again. Appreciate you guys for checking us out. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.